In this video, I'm going to be redrawing these earrings that Taylor Swift wore from Lorraine Schwartz. And I'm going to be doing it with Copic markers. No, not these ones. These ones are just cute little ones that sit on my desk and I might turn into earrings. Hey, it's Jen here from JynDrawz. Welcome to my channel. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it out with a pencil first. Try to lay out everything as best as I can. It's just to have a rough sketch of it, not exact and perfect or anything like that. I just wanted to draw and work on my drawing skills and coloring with the markers, and this was, well, very difficult. It had a lot of gemstones in it, a lot of diamonds in it. It was a very complex shapes of the diamonds, as some of them are a kite shape, some are just plain rounds, and then you've got square ones, you've got round ones, you've got colored gemstones, and I couldn't find any real sharp close-up pictures of the earrings. These were the best ones that I could find, so I'm just kind of guessing where everything is, and there's multiple layers to the earrings, which adds even more to the complexity, which is why in the end I just ended up drawing the one top piece, as it was just too much for me at this point in time. For the white gold, I used C1, C3, C5. I also used that same color combination for the diamonds. For the aqua colored gemstones, I used BG05, BG09, and BG02. For the purple gemstones, I used V12, V17, and BV08. I used the same three colors, but then I added a B79 to it to darken it up. I then went in with a plain Bic black ink pen to draw out all the shapes, sketch in the facets of the gemstones, and then I let that dry really well before I even started with the markers. And on the Ohuhu paper, it did not smudge at all. In fact, I was kind of amazed, because usually I do the pen at the end, but now I thought I would do it at the beginning since this is such a complex design. I am starting with the white gold, coloring that in first, and that I'm using the C1, and I'm using the C3 to start adding in the shadows and building up the layers for that. And I go around every single gemstone, adding the shadow and keeping in mind that the light source is from the top left, so all your shadows are on the bottom right. I'm going around everything and remembering that the larger stones are overlapping the smaller stones, and that because they are larger stones, they are bigger and they are taller than the smaller stones, so you have a wide variety of depth on that. Then I'm going in with the C5 to add even more shadows, darken that up, even give it more contrast, more depth. Giving it more depth even, and then I'm putting little shadows in the small round gemstones, one on the table, one on the bottom right of the facets, and then I just keep doing that for every single one of them, going by every single one, adding the shadows, darkening the shadows, adding that depth. It's basically just rinse and repeat. You just keep going, keep adding more depth, keep adding more shadows, blending it in sometimes with the C3 or the C1, and then going back in with some more C5 if it got a little too light, and just keep adding and building up that layer so that there's no white of the paper on the metal part of this earring. And now I'm starting with this top diamond and putting in the shadows for it and adding the reflections to it. Just starting with C1, building it up with C3, going to C5, then going on to the small round diamonds all around. It's just dot and line, dot and line, dot and line. You just keep going. A lot of repetitive work and trying not to miss a single one of them because there are so many. And yes, even on those turquoise, like aqua colored ones, I also did the shadows for those already, because when I go over it with that aqua green colors, the gray just fades away, so it's not even a problem. It just reminds me of where the shadows and the light are coming in and refracting and reflecting on in the stone. I like how with every adding and layering of every sea color that you get more and more depth and more light and more refraction, and how it starts to appear to be a three-dimensional object on the page with just a couple lines and a couple dashes of those 3 gray colors. And now for those light purple lavender colored square stones. It's not an exact match, but I think it turned out pretty okay. I could have tried and worked on my color combos a bit more to make it a bit more light lavender, but I couldn't seem to find the right color combo, so I just went with this pinkish purplish look. And as you see with every stone, since they're at a different angle to the light, you have to change where that shadow and that refraction of light is coming through. So in some of the stones it's top left, and then some of them it looks more like it's along the length of the stone. And for the round ones it's always the same because they're round and nothing changes there. It's only when you get into more complex shapes that you gotta really pay attention to which way that stone is facing against the light. And at the time of this recording, these earrings are up for auction. So if you have 3 million lying around, you might be able to snag them for yourself. Now I'm starting on that center stone, and that was very tricky because it is so dark and it's so complex because it's so big and has so many facets. I went a little too dark on it, but considering the contrast with the other stones, I think it turned out pretty neat, and I'm pretty happy with the end results. I'm sure as I get more practice and I try some more and I learn some more techniques and I just experiment myself some more, and maybe instead of just using only Copics, maybe I'll use some of my other markers, and then maybe I can get a better blend and a nicer color that matches a little more to the actual stone in the picture. But for now I'm just learning and learning as I go, and I think it's going pretty well, and I'm learning a lot, and I think I really enjoy the process more and more each time, and I learn something new each time, and it's a lot of fun. Now I'm doing the white highlights everywhere. Again, it's just rinse and repeat, remembering where the light source is coming in, putting in some dots on the table, adding some reflection spots, adding a highlight along the white gold. Now adding a drop shadow, and I think we're about to call this one done. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments below, and let's do some emoji that is purple like the hyacinth or some other purple reference in the comments down below. And if you like this video, think about subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!